What's up, YouTube? This is your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. This week, there really wasn't anything major in the news today. I think there was another shooting, mass shooting, that took place. I don't remember where it was. Some black guy went up shooting a bunch of people. But this is getting to be the norm now. It's like every time you turn around, there's the news is trying to, perpetuate this mass shooting thing. And the reason why this is going on, why you're hearing more and more about it, is because the Democrats are trying to push a bill through to take away your rights to carry arms, your Second Amendment rights. They want to take away your guns to where they're in full control and they don't have to worry about you causing a civil war and going against them. They want full dictatorship and control, even though that's what they claim Trump wanted, and that's not what he wanted, apparently. Obviously, it's just the Democrats. Anyways, that's the big news I saw for the most part. Like I said, nothing really major. Oh, I did see Fauci getting on the whole thing too. Dr. Fauci claiming that these mass shootings are a health risk. They need to take away our guns and shit. Like that motherfucker has any idea what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to guns. He's the health risk. That motherfucker is flip-flopped so many times, he don't know what he's talking about. He's the most ignorant fucking man when it comes to being a doctor. He literally said there was nothing, he stated way back when that there were, that this China virus was no more harmful than the flu. Or it was actually less harmful than the flu, which is true. And he even stated that you don't need to wear masks because they're not going to help prevent anything, which again is true. They don't help. They make things worse. They've all said this: CDC, the WHO, and Dr. Fauci, and tons of thousands of doctors all across the world, not just in the United States, have literally reported that the CV is no worse or less problematic than the flu. This shit that the mainstream media keeps pushing, this fear agenda, it's all cooked up by the Democrats and shit. Don't listen to a fucking thing they say, because they're all bullshit. They're bullshitting you. Mainstream media is public enemy number one. It literally is. It is done by far leftists like George Soros, who don't care about anybody but themselves. So stop listening to them, because they're full of shit. Anyways, moving on. Big thing I want to talk to you about this week. I just got done. I was bored. Got done watching a movie here lately that was more of a newer release. It was done in 2018, and it was done by Netflix. Now, I consider just about anything done by Netflix to be B-rated, even though they use some top grade actors in some of their films. It's still B-rated because it's not a real studio like Warner Brothers, Paramount, Lionsgate, TriStar, Universal. You know, Disney. It's not a huge studio, movie studio. So I just got done watching a movie done by them from 2018, and it was called How It Ends. Now, the only reason I even gave this thing a glance is because of the story behind it and the fact it had Forrest Whitaker in it. Forrest Whitaker is a really good actor. I really like him as an actor. It also had Theo James as the lead in it, and Kat Graham now as the leading lady. Now, Theo James plays a part where he's engaged to Forrest Whitaker's daughter, played by Kat Graham. Some tragic event happens, like a worldwide event. To me, the event kind of acted more like Yellowstone volcano underneath Yellowstone, like it went off, the super volcano. That's what it seemed like to me. They never really specifically tell you what the huge natural disaster event was, but I'm guessing that's what it was, because that's the way it came off. Anyways, at some point in time, I'm not sure exactly where Theo and Forrest was at exactly. I know they were way south of where Kat Graham was, and she was in Washington. I know that much. She was in Washington. I remember that. Now, they needed to take a trip in a car to get to her. They wanted to go find out what happened. There was a huge electromagnetic spike or explosion, and it killed all the electric. I don't know if it was the whole world, but at least in the United States, in that area, east coast of the United States. And the whole way up there that they're trying to get to, Forrest and Theo have to fight off people who are desperate for resources, gas, food, the car, and they have to deal with this constantly. And I believe if some type of event like that happens, people will turn on each other exactly like that. It will happen that way. They will turn, no matter how nice they were before, they will turn ugly and turn mean just to survive. Anyways, Forrest don't make it. Theo does. He finally gets to his girl. And they eventually get out of Washington just before another fucking part of the event happens. They barely get out of there in time. And that's the end of the movie. That's where they leave it off. Now, I've seen reports that there's supposed to be a sequel to this. I don't know if there will be. It's not a bad movie. It's alright. It's not too bad. I recommend it if you're looking for a decent movie to watch. I give it a thumbs up and a thumbs down. It's almost, a pre-sequel to a post-apocalyptic event. Like, just as the post-apocalyptic event is happening. Sorry, got a little tongue-tied there. That's the way it is. It's not a bad movie. Definitely check it out. The next thing I want to talk about is, I don't know if they're going to do a second, I'm guessing they are, but I don't know if they're going to do a second season of a television show done by Amazon. It's called Upload. And it stars Robbie Amell and Andy Ilo. Now you might recognize Robbie if you ever saw The Flash, watched the television show The Flash. He played the actual Firestorm before they got all fucking woke and decided to put a black guy in there as Firestorm. He was Firestorm at the beginning, and then they got rid of him, like I said, because they got all woke. This show, it's kind of strange at first. It takes a little bit to get used to, a couple of episodes or so. You gotta watch 2 or 3 episodes to actually start getting into it. It reminded me like an online version of The Sims, or you know, a live adaptation of the online game called The Sims. I don't know if you've ever played that. It's a simulation world, and basically he's living in a virtual reality world. Now it's sometime in the future. You know, they have cars that can drive themselves and all that kind of shit. There's a company called Upload that bypasses like cryogenics and all that kind of shit. And now when you die, you can have them take your head and brain or whatever, and it gets zapped into this uploaded into this machine, your consciousness, and you can live practically forever in this simulated world called Upload. You don't die. You live on in this world. In order to get certain things in this world, though, you have to pay for it. You have to have money or somebody who's providing money, you know, even after your death, to keep it going. You know, and to get certain things, like if you want to look older or younger, or you know, different, like a different avatar, that kind of shit. You want certain you know, foods and luxuries in this fucking virtual world. You have to have money in an account, or somebody has to be putting money in there for you and pay for it, which is ridiculous. You know, you're dead. How are you supposed to keep paying for shit? But whatever. Anyways, it's not a bad show. There is a mystery element to it. He finds out that someone had him killed, and throughout the first season, he's trying to figure out who killed him off and why they stuck him in Upload. So you have that, and his moderator or whatever, played by Andy Ilo, she's constantly trying to help him out, trying to figure out what's going on, because she's kind of falling for him. It's a good show. It's weird, it's bizarre at first, but once you get into it and you figure out what's going on, you know, it's really a pretty decent show. It's not too bad. I definitely highly recommend it. I actually give this one 2 thumbs up. Check out this new TV series called Upload. You'll really like it if you like sci-fi mystery type shit. You'll definitely get into it. Alright, movie holics, let's move on to your B-movie reviews. This week is Horror Week. This week I chose two different horror flicks that are pretty much similar in the fact that they both have alien slug-like beings that come from outer space and take over your brains and turn you into zombies. The first one was done in 1986, and it's called Night of the Creeps. Now, at the box office, it only made about $500,000. I'm not even sure if this actually went in a theater or not. I know it went to VHS. It stars Jason Lively, Tom Atkins, and your female lead is Jill Whitlow. Now, basically at the beginning, you see these aliens fighting over a life form. One of the aliens shoots it off into space from a spaceship. It crash lands on Earth, and sometime around the mid 50s. However, when it infects somebody, the person doesn't die. They end up, don't ask me how the person that got infected ended up in cryogenics in some laboratory for this particular university, but it did, this university, and they've been keeping it on ice for 30 some odd years. Now we're in the 1986. These two college students, these two boys, one's madly in love with the hottest girl on campus. Yeah. Seen that scenario 100 times. Anyways, one of these think they're smarter than everybody else, but they're actually dumber than a box of rocks. And they go and release this body from the cryo chamber because they were supposed to get a dead body to put on the front lawn of one of the other sorority houses. They wanted to join the Alpha sorority house because Jason Lively's character wanted to impress Jill Whitlow, the hot chick. So they thought they'd try to join a sorority house, and the Alpha Betas, or whatever you want to call them, they told them to go get a corpse and put it on one of the other sorority houses' lawns. It didn't happen. They freaked out. They ran out because the body started to twitch on them. There's one assistant in the building, or scientist, or whatever you want to call him. He goes in there, and of course he gets infected. And then the body leaves. Tom Atkins comes in and he tries to investigate and figure out what's going on. The whole time this body leaves, it goes to the sorority house that it was used to in the 50s. But instead it's the 80s now, and the hot chick, she runs into the dead body and it blows, the head falls apart, blows up, whatever, and all these slugs come out, which are the alien slugs, or the alien life form. Eventually these slugs start getting into other people and turn them into like zombie-like creatures, where they incubate in the brain until pop out with a lot more slugs. Bust the head open and come out tons of other slugs. This happens several times throughout the movie. Eventually, Tom Atkins and Jason Lively's character and the girl, Jill Withlow, they battle the undead, zombie-like, slug-infested people. Destroy them all. And then Tom Atkins, he finds the nest of the slugs underneath the sorority house. He blows it up. And at the end, he walks out all burnt to a crisp as a zombie. He falls down in front of the cemetery, and all these slugs go into the cemetery. And you see that alien spaceship using a searchlight searching the cemetery for the slugs. And that's the end of the movie. Now, if you like the 80s cheesy horror comedy / sci-fi type movies, this is right up your alley. It's really good. It's got some funny parts in it, but it's got that, it's not so cheesy it's bad, it's cheesy it's good type movie. I definitely highly recommend it. I give it 2 thumbs up. It's really good. As far as special effects go, they actually weren't that bad. I give them a solid 3 for the special effects. The aliens at the very beginning were kind of, they were kind of silly looking. But the rest of the movie, for special effects, blowing up of heads and shit like that, I give it a 3. It wasn't bad. It was decent. The acting wasn't bad either. I give it a solid 3. It was pretty good. As far as the story goes, well, it wasn't bad. It kind of reminds you of like the old sci-fi horror flicks of the 50s, but it wasn't bad. I'll give it a 3 too. It wasn't really that bad. Even though you've probably seen something similar. Overall, this movie, I give it a solid 3 overall. Definitely check it out. I highly recommend it. The next movie I want to talk about is, of course, another Alien Slug movie. Now, this one was actually done in 2006, and it made about $12 million, which was okay. It's called Slither. Now, this one starred Nathan Fillion, Elizabeth Banks, and of course, good old Michael Rooker. Basically, a meteor crashes in this, small town. And Michael Rooker finds it, and he's checking it out, and this worm-like slug enters in his body and goes up and nestles in his brain. It doesn't so much take him over as it begins to transform him. This is where it slightly differs from the other Alien Slug movie. It begins to transform him. Now, it makes him have an intensious appetite. He's constantly wanting to eat meat all the time. Now, Michael Rooker plays a guy who has quite a bit of money, and he's married to Elizabeth Banks. Nathan Fillion plays like the sheriff of the town, who's always kind of had a crush on Elizabeth Banks' character. Michael Rooker eventually, he tries to kill his wife because he's kind of half the alien and half Michael Rooker, the human. So he almost kills her. He doesn't quite kill her. He does have sex with her with the alien parasite in him before he starts really transforming. There's another woman in town that has a crush on him. He ends up going and seeing her, and he basically incubates her, injects her with a bunch of seedlings or slug pods, whatever you want to call them. And then he starts feeding her until she turns into this gigantic balloon and eventually blows up. And all these slugs come out. And they basically want to jump into your mouth and get up into your brain so they can incubate more and make more slugs. Now Michael Rooker, he keeps transforming into this gelatinous squid-like weird looking thing, and he gets where people that's been infected with the slugs, they're walking around like zombies now doing his bidding, and they kind of have his memories but not really his. It's more the alien slug that's inside of him. And some of them come to him and they attach themselves to him like this weird looking blob of bodies, and some of the other infected constantly eat, trying to incubate the slugs in their heads. It gets really weird, really strange. But eventually they blow him up. Nathan Fillion, Elizabeth Banks, and this girl are the only survivors from the town, and that's pretty much the end of the movie after they blow him up. It's pretty cheesy. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cheesy, even more cheesy than the 80s movie. I mean, it's all right, it's not bad, it's okay. But it's pretty cheesy. I recommend it if you like that kind of thing. If you're into, sci-fi horror. It was alright. It wasn't bad. I give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, just because it was pretty cheesy. The acting was good. That definitely you had some really great actors in this, so I'm definitely giving the acting a 4 because it was really, the actors were great. Special effects, they really did some. I'm going to give this a -4. It wasn't bad. It was weird, it was bizarre, it was creepy looking. I definitely give, they did pretty good. I'm giving it a -4. Now, as far as the story-wise goes, you've heard it or seen it many times before if you're into sci-fi or horror. So, I'm just going to give it a 3, a decent 3. I mean, it was okay story, but we all heard it or seen it before, told in a different way. And overall, I'm going to give it a 3. It was a decent movie, even though it was pretty fucking cheesy. I'll give it a 3. It wasn't bad. Check it out if you want. Okay, that's all I have for you today. This week, if you want to leave any comments on thoughts about things I said earlier in the video, please tell me your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'd like to hear them. If you have any underrated movies or gems, B-rated movies or something that you think I might not have heard of or seen, please leave them down in the comment section down below, all your suggestions, and I will get to them and review them as soon as I possibly can. Until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you just been told.